Hello, I'm Jeremy Taylor, and welcome to Wednesday Night Undressed, the podcast that reaches into the wobbly places other podcasts daren't venture. Yes, filmed in front of a naked audience. That's naked because they're really naked, not sort of nude. There's nothing to them. You can join our panel for a thrilling threnody of rumbustical debate where the answers are always clear, simple and straightforward, insofar as they can be determined and demonstrated to be without any epistemological problems. Now, before I introduce our regular panel and guests, I do have to say that we have been in trouble. And as you may have heard on various podcasts, we've been having to take some legal advice. And we now, in fact, have to have a lawyer with us all the time. In fact, this is Lewis. He's been with us before, but but he actually has to be here as a lawyer. And I'd like to share a very old story about Lewis when he first started as a young lawyer, defending a businessman in a lawsuit. And he feared that he was going to lose the case, and he asked his senior partner if he should send a box of cigars to the judge to curry favor. And the senior partner was horrified. He said, "The judge is an honorable man." He said, "And if you do that, I guarantee you will lose the case, and probably your job." Eventually, the judge ruled in the young lawyer's favor. "Aren't you glad you didn't send those cigars?" when the young lawyer Lewis reported to his boss. The senior partner said. Lewis responded, "Oh, I did send them." The young lawyer replied, "I just enclosed my opponent's business card with them."
Nice. That's a brilliant idea. I now know I'm going to win my first court case.
Do you know how many lawyer jokes there are?
At least
my
three.
personal opinion is not enough.
There are three, in fact. There are three.
I said
in
at
fact,
least three.
all the rest are true stories. Oh, yes. Laugh. I nearly cried. All right. So let's... On our panel tonight, we have Andrei, Kathleen, Julian, Meredith, Eli, Lewis, Cassidy,
Hi.
and Fernando.
Hi.
I tried to
Hi,
go as quick as I
Fernando.
could, but she got in.
Hi, Fernando.
Every
single
time. Yes. Right. And, of course, we have our friend who is playing with his knobs. Knobmeister.
Knob molester is more.
What do you think?
Dude, I
How old
wanted
are those
that
knobs?
nickname.
The Knobmeister extraordinaire, Neil Rasmussen.
No, I was going for the knob molester. That's got like...
Now, our questions tonight. What would be your family logo, or if you're English, coat of arms? Hypothetical. Your aunt out in California has won the Powerball. She's very much into heraldry, family crests and the like. And she's offered to share the winnings with you, but you have to create a new crest for your family. And what would be a great symbol for your family? Let's go with Fernando.
Well, thanks. That's a amazing question, and
Thank you.
I always thought about that. But I would like probably just Google like a random symbol, and whatever pops, I would like delivered.
What if it's a Nazi symbol?
Oh well,
Well,
I would
Fernando is
change. I would
Brazilian.
change that, so I would get
if-
another one.
What if it's the Nazi symbol, but for a culture that's not the Nazis?
Man.
Yeah.
Just circle of life, dude.
That's all. Jeremy, what would you make?
I'm sure you've got a,
Oh yeah,
a
he's
coat,
got
right?
Don't get him started.
And put a knife through it with blood dripping down.
Oh, okay. It's getting better.
Right.
Well, strangely, my family actually do have a coat of arms, and the sort of saying that goes with it. Pour y parvenir is the actual you call it a logo, but it's and translated directly, it sows to accomplish it. But modern day language, it would be make it happen. Make it happen is the thing, and I do actually have a picture on my phone just to prove it. You got it.
Oh, actually, my family has one.
Yeah. And the
Doesn't look
that's
like a Nazi symbol.
that's the crest, and the picture is in fact of a peacock in its proper pride, a male peacock with all its feathers up, sitting on top of a ceremonial crimson cap that of a lot. It's what they wear when they're doing something ceremonial with the royalty or whatever.
So, do you know what the meaning, the significance of the peacock is?
It's well, they have peacocks there, but I don't know any more than that. That is what the peacock. You're coming
on the table.
You're coming.
Well, I'm sorry, but I'm part of that family now, and I would not accept. My microphone is not working.
Well, let's pause it for a minute, shall we?
Should have been Cassidy's.
Okay.
That's just a crap microphone.
Oh, right.
Oh, and it was off.
That was the reason. I didn't even think that there might be a switch on it. Okay.
Hold on.
Thank you.
Let me double check right now. It's why we do the test thing, remember?
What?
All right, Kath.
Okay. Now I'm chewing. Okay. I'm part of the Taylor family now, but I'm not particularly fond of that whole crest thing. But in my family, it would definitely be crossed sewing machines on a field of corn.
Nice.
Okay? Yeah.
I like it. I like it a lot. So yeah, that's the idea, Jeremy. If you had to redesign your family crest for the 21st century, what would it be? And I know you Brits don't believe in doing anything new. You gotta, if it doesn't go back 700 years, it doesn't count.
He's about to faint.
Right.
Yeah.
It would be an Aston Martin DB4 being driven. An Aston Martin DB4 being driven by a teddy bear.
Nice. I really like it. That's really good.
Journey style.
Mm-hmm.
Journey style.
You can see the teddy bear. Well, you've met my teddy bear.
That's not code, by the way.
Don't you go there.
I didn't
Don't-
say anything. The lawyer's the one who
No,
said it.
no. Meredith next.
Oh, man.
Because you went there.
I mean, I don't really do like symbols of the colonizers and stuff.
No, that's why you get to make up your own. You get to do whatever. The hell
Yeah,
you
but it's
want.
still kind of a colonizer thing.
You could just
Well,
make the
yeah.
symbol like no
I think you
colonizers.
need to have
Or
right.
something
Like,
in there for revenge.
maybe I'm
Utilize,
just gonna
not
have like
colonize.
a black queen with the full headdress and the arms like Wakanda.
Brilliant. I
Yeah.
love it.
Yeah.
Good one.
Here's a question for you, though.
Yeah.
If you had won the Mega Millions the other day, and you're now worth $900 million,
Okay.
right? You are going to buy you're going to buy your family loads of shit, and then you're going to buy some gigantic great house.
No, not really, but sure, if that's what you would do.
What would you
go
do?
ahead and tell your story.
What would you do?
Personally, I've never wanted a big gargantuan house because that takes a big gargantuan amount of money to maintain, and that's a stupid way to spend your money.
But you have enough money that it doesn't
I
matter
don't
what-
care.
Oh, okay.
I see with that kind of thing, the vibe is to create generational wealth, and buying myself a big stupid house is not going to create generational wealth so that my great grandchildren don't have to work if they don't want to. However, I would get a small house with a lot of land, and I would then make sure I would probably build a whole separate house on that land for my mama. That way we still got our own space. And my brother, he fine. He can take care of himself. He good. The other brother, he good. He fine. They both, they good. And then maybe I'll get him a car or something, But no, I would probably invest and then give a large amount to philanthropic efforts.
So the land that you're going to buy, you talked earlier about us, Brits and white people, but aren't you
that was
going
me talking about white people.
All right.
Yeah, I
Doesn't-
talked about colonizers
You're colonizers.
of
yeah.
all races. You know what I mean? Like,
Colonizers,
yeah.
So you, in fact, would be
I ain't say I was gonna make
Sending-
people work on it. I
No,
just said I was gonna buy it.
the Native Americans.
I mean, they can come chill.
Okay.
I mean, I'm not opposed to anybody coming. You want to build a teepee on the thing or whatever you want to do, or go over there and do some. I mean, a witch want to come and cut down a tree? That's fine.
You
I
got
don't
to talk
care.
to your lawyer before you start letting people walk all over your land.
I mean, I want to buy a lot of it, so it's fine. But sure, I guess I'm sorry. Lou will be your direct contact from this point forward with my fictional $900 million.
In fact, Lewis would probably be working for you full time.
That's true. I would definitely have him on retainer. That's for sure.
Eli, what about you?
The face of a buffalo, all red, mountains, all black.
Okay.
I mean,
Face for buffalo.
Red
I almost want to ask what that is, but like I'm scared to open your brain even that much.
It is what it is. I don't know what to tell you. Like, it is what it is.
Wonder where the red buffalo came from. Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay. He's not gonna tell us. All right. We're just gonna
Okay,
have to
well, we'll
imagine
just
the
get you-
worst.
Well, hey, we're right here. You know, we're in the heart of it, so that's where I want to be.
We'll
Okay.
we'll get your dad to talk about it then.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
He can tell us.
And what his coat of arms is.
Well, at least you gave it its proper name. Meredith, we've done you. Cassidy, what would be your coat of arms?
So, okay, the two sides of my family are very different. So, for like my mom's side, I would say an owl because they tend to be wise and a lot of them are old. I said a lot of them, not all of them.
No, that's very good.
Just to be clear for the listeners, I'm looking at her some type of way. Just to be clear.
Like, grandma's kind of old. I'm sorry.
Bro, this is on the internet. Your grandma might kill you.
She won't ever hear. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Cassidy, you keep going, girl. Go on.
And then for my dad's side, I would put like a cowboy hat because they're all like southern and yeah. It's my only.
Your other side of your family is southern
Meredith,
too.
stay
just
in your
FYI.
seat. It's not
I
fair.
know, but they have like a detectable accent and stuff,
No,
and they like
no violence.
live in the South still.
No violence. Oh dear, oh dear.
But anyway, they still live in the South.
Yeah.
It's like
Cowboy
my other
hat's a
family
good
doesn't.
idea. Yeah.
Would the owl wear the cowboy hat?
Oh, shit. Rootin' tootin'.
Jeremy.
No.
Yes, dear. Fernando.
Actually, let me fix this. Thanks for this question. I just figured out after my answer. I already have also a coat of arms already for my family, and this will be a amazing gifts for Christmas. So I can buy hoodies, mugs, keychain, and banners. All with my family already has also a coat of arms. So
That looks like the Joker in a pack of
it
cards.
is. Yeah.
Oh, right. I like it.
Do you know what they were for? The coat of arms and things like that.
No?
No.
Well, of course, you don't have staff, do you? Right. Well, no.
And that's why we don't be praising colonizers.
Like we had those on the carriers and the front door of the castle, right? Those kind of things.
So they have it on a flag, right? And so that your people, the farm workers who are now coming to fight for you, can follow the flag. They know which flag to follow.
Their feudal lord.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Because they didn't, in fact, all wear uniforms and things like that back in the day. They were just farmhands.
It also pinpoints the feudal lord in case anybody wants to come and stab him in the back, which
I
is
mean,
kind of
that
nice.
part.
Yeah.
Yeah, you. Go on, Andrei.
I can't see a better fitting coat of arms than just a chesty lion for my family.
Oh, let's go.
I feel like that would be perfect.
Just to give you context, the Chastity Lion, it's the mascot of high school that perhaps you go. That's
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Dude, I had a completely idea when he said Chesty Lion what he was talking
You
about.
knew. You know.
He had a different idea.
Julian? Have I done Julian yet? No. What do you think, Julian?
One of two things. Either a chessboard where one of the sides is about to get a checkmate, or
Uh-huh.
is in a checkmate, they just haven't won yet. Or B, the nerd emoji with a tie.
With a tie?
Tie.
A tie, gotcha.
Because my
Nerd
family.
emoji.
Yeah.
That does
With a
represent his
tie.
dad very
It
well.
represents, it represents most of my family, and because my dad's a lawyer, we had to add the tie for
You gotta
formality.
spiff it up. You gotta spiff it up.
Yep.
Okay. I'm wondering what would yours be, though? You know, Julian's. What would it be? You know, do you...
Whatever it is, it would have to have a big mop of hair on top of it.
Yeah.
A really annoyingly large smiley face. like creepily and also just annoyingly large.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
Cheeky.
Yeah.
83.
Yeah.
And we finally come to Lewis.
All right, so
Are you speaking to us as our lawyer or as Lewis, the podcast member?
Lewis, the
Our
podcast
Lewis.
member.
Right, okay.
This would probably get me disbarred if I was speaking to you about this as the lawyer. So my middle to youngest, or next to youngest brother, he's the oldest twin, I guess is the way to say it. He had a school assignment where they had to create a coat of arms for the family. And never before have I heard a more perfect coat of arms to describe my family. Describe both sides of my family, both my mom's side and my dad's side. So one of the things that he learned when you're developing a coat of arms is that a coat of arms will typically have up to 3 symbols that symbolize the family. And like you've basically got top right, top left, and then bottom center. And typically top left, I think, is the position of prominence. And so right there, we would have a pair of dice showing craps because that would be the most important thing to both sides of my family. After that, on the next one would be a pair of broken handcuffs because my family is always
Goodman.
going to jail
exactly.
and
Good
sneaking
omen
out.
right
Yeah.
there.
And then last would be a guy. There was a song back when he had to do this by the rap group NWA called 100 Miles and Running. And in the song, they talk about being able to jump a 10-foot fence. And so in the last position of prominence would be basically a burglar jumping over a fence that's 10 feet high. And so we would finish off this coat of arms with the slogan, Walton spelled backwards is not law.
Not long.
That'll be it.
Hell yeah.
Very crafty, very
Yeah.
very lawyerly.
Exactly. I'm trying to figure out how I can get the not law thing into my legal firm, but I don't know that that's going to work.
Well, not law. Interesting. It's very. I asked a question, and I've got a number of these questions have come in. Lawyer questions. But here, these guys actually know the answer to this because they've been briefed. But I want to know whether you know the answer to this.
Okay.
This is as a lawyer, of course. What is the difference between a good lawyer and a bad lawyer?
I'm going to say probably about $300 an hour.
A bad lawyer, a bad lawyer might let a case drag on for several years. A good lawyer knows how to make it last even longer.
I like it. I agree. I absolutely agree.
Good. What do you think?
A great lawyer would just keep it going in perpetuity.
Yeah.
Good pension plan.
Again, a great lawyer knows how to avoid all of that.
There are way too many lawyers in this room right now, bro.
Our other lawyer, who's joined us just now, is just causing trouble. I'm being lawyerly. Okay, next question. Children, we're broadcasting.
Is that
So
what these
here's
microphone things are for?
here's what a question for you. Believe it or not, people listen to this in Europe, England, Australia, New Zealand,
South America.
South America.
No,
No, baby.
it's next to it.
It's next to it.
And we're gonna have a talk with your world geo teacher.
I don't have a geography teacher.
I feel
Here
like
we
you
go.
should.
Okay, so sensible, please. Next question. Have you followed election results closely? Why or why not? And there is a secondary backup question, a related question, which is how many states will make marijuana recreational before it becomes legally federally? Andre?
I don't know how many states will make it legal, but I don't really have many opinions on this.
Why not?
Because I don't smoke marijuana, and I don't know if it really. I assume there's some benefits to it. Like I know there's like medical reasons, but I know it's like the recreational marijuana. I don't know how dangerous it can be, but if people like it, I feel like I don't think it's super dangerous from what I've seen. So I don't know. I feel like if people like it, more states should make it legal.
Well, I've probably been nearer drugs more than most of you lot.
He's a party boy. Old
And I
Jeremy.
can tell you, take it from me, that marijuana is very dangerous.
What?
Yeah.
He ate a
I
whole
mean,
pan
if
of
it's
brownies.
laced, I guess. I mean, I don't know, but like,
Far out
I
and
agree to
freaky.
disagree.
Did I just say that?
okay.
No, the reason it's dangerous is because it's more effective than beer. And so you can be smoking a joint and another joint and another joint, and it doesn't occur to you that you really shouldn't be driving, because it does, trust me.
Because your
It-
car probably ain't moving. That's what's like.
Yeah.
You probably sitting in
the
the
car-
drive
the
like
car-
baked. Like,
I have been in a semi driven by a roadie who's not been drinking, but he's been smoking a lot of spliffs, and he didn't make it round the corner, and the back end of the semi went off a bridge.
he was a shitty driver. Like, I'm sorry.
Dude, don't get behind
I
me.
mean, he had been driving for 8 hours, but that's another story.
I was gonna say I cannot co-sign any of this. Sorry, as a pro marijuana
That's trucker
person,
shit. That's trucker
like that is a whole. Other
But
thing.
also, I think it's very important that people who are epileptic have found very real benefits from marijuana. And a lot of mums who have kids who are epileptic, seizures and the like, have found that giving their children medical marijuana have, again, found great efficacy with this. And since Meredith has decided to go off on it, let's have Meredith's opinion.
How many
Meredith.
states are going to have to legalize it before it comes national policy?
I don't that trying to predict politics right now with one party that is a cult. I mean, is nearly impossible. I honestly don't know, but I do have to refute everything you just said about marijuana being dangerous. Yeah, no, marijuana is a good thing. Matter of fact, somebody hand me a joint right now. Like, my
over
lawyer's
there.
right there, so we're covered. It's fine. But yeah, no.
What about the election half of the question? Have you followed the results since?
Honestly, I'm going to be real with you. Since everything that's been going on in my work life, have not followed it. But I did obviously catch and see where we're at with the Senate and the House. And to be quite real with you, normally like watching poll results roll in is like a thing. Like I'm home in time for the polls to close. I feel like I can't take the heartache right now. Like it feels like I don't know how it's going to turn out. It's not like a red tsunami like they said, you know, but I also, like, if we lose either the House or the Senate, I feel like I just can't handle that right now. Like, I mean, seriously, it's been a very emotional 6 years of politics here in this country, and it's too much for me right now.
I think it's sad that dear old Mr. Trump probably isn't going to win in 2024, even if he stands.
When you
What a
say
tragedy.
sad, can you define how the fuck you come up with that idea?
I mean, right? I'm hoping he's locked up by 2024.
Well, it's not going to happen. That I think a lot of people are hoping that's going to happen. That isn't going to happen.
I think it's either that or the fall of democracy, dude. You cannot let this man get away with this without somebody being held accountable. Like, I just don't see how. I understand what you're saying. I'm not saying I don't understand what you're saying. I'm saying that if you let it happen with him, like, democracy will inevitably fall. Period.
Completely disagree. It's just been going on since the very beginning. It's just that Trump is idiot enough to not hide it. And so...
Yeah, but the fascist part of, like, denying elections and all of that crap and then putting election deniers and secretaries of state that actually control those elections, that part hasn't been happening forever.
Completely disagree.
You completely disagree all you want, but I think we're in a whole different type of situation right now.
So why do you think that Kansas, our home state, has just elected Kobach to be Secretary of State?
No. Not Secretary of State.
AG.
Sorry.
Attorney General.
It's because we like these damn Republicans. We do. We love them.
We?
Yeah, how about the rural Kansas loves them?
Well, I think you need to start doing some homework on DeSantis because I think he will be president in 2024. Well, 2025.
I think I need to be more concerned with getting a visa to live in another country.
Canada.
Canada to is. Eli, if you manage to stay awake long enough, do you want to... what do you think of the election results so far?
Well, I don't know about elections, but as far as that weed goes, I know.
Hold on. Did you vote? Did you vote?
I did vote. I was about to say my hair cutter was going crazy. I said, all right, I'll vote. Calm down. But I think the majority of states are gonna need to get that weed in there before the feds do anything, because them feds love going into the weed shops and taking their money. So that's what I know about that.
Hey, Eli.
Yes.
If you fall asleep, do I have your permission to slap you?
Not today, buddy. Not today.
There's another interesting thing about politics that you bring up. Is the practical side to politics. Meredith just said, Lewis also said, well, Trump, he should be this, that, and the other. My question is that it was easier to arrest him when he was president than it currently is now. Because if you're Merrick Garland, is that right? Merrick Garland, and it's on you, and he says to some state law enforcement, okay, go fetch. Bring him in. You know when you go to bed tonight that you have sentenced to death a number of Secret Service people, lots of innocent civilians, and it's down to you, nobody else. Because Trump is protected by a Secret Service detail, and they are not going to allow him to be arrested. So the only other people who can do it are the Secret Service.
Wait, why? Hold on,
So
back up.
where I'm going with this is that I think it's interesting that people go wave of hand, we should do this and we should do that, but they don't actually think about the practical implications of trying to achieve what it is they're blowing off about.
It ain't so easy, yeah.
No. I'm going to push back on 100% of what you just said. If Trump is arrested, it's going to be the Secret Service that brings him in. The same Secret Service that's protecting him. Like, they're officers of the law first and foremost.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, short of like a literal government coup, there's not going to be this life and death, innocent hostages on the street. That's a Jack Ryan movie scenario. What is a whole lot more likely is that
a hell of a film, that one.
That was what is a whole lot more likely would be Trump would get advance notification that he's going to be arrested and take off and end up in Vlad's crib in
That's all right. He'd fall out of a window pretty quickly.
What I know is a dummy in the spotlight is better than a dummy in the shadows, because at least we can see what kind of game he's trying to pull.
No joke.
No doubt. At least he's a fucking fool. We can say that much.
Yeah.
Okay, so Fernando.
What?
Stop arguing with Cassie. Come on. I mean, she's
Okay.
doing her best.
So, okay, what's the question? There was weed and there was
Yeah. So
Yeah.
what are we on to
So-
now?
We're talking about marijuana,
and following the
election results, and how do we arrest Trump?
Okay, so I don't know. That definitely, like, the guy has so much dirt. I don't know what's the strategy behind the DOJ. And I even had a thought that maybe they're holding. I'd not be surprised. Maybe the indictment. What's the term when you?
The indictment?
Yeah, that would come up tomorrow or
Uh-huh.
after the results, because I'm just wondering if they're just holding on this crap because of those primaries. Perhaps.
Maybe.
Perhaps.
I don't know
Because
what's
definitely-
holding them up. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
there is a lot of dirty and plenty all
Oh,
over,
yeah.
like from corruption here and
Can you imagine any ordinary citizen having been found with top secret secret
Yeah.
documents that they have refused to hand over and tried to hide?
Yep.
And can you imagine?
no, yeah, that's already. I mean, there is plenty. Regarding the weed, I think as more it spreads and it's like a domino effect. It's interesting how long it takes and how long is it taking. Even it's being progressively growing there. Now, just past finally recreational in Missouri next door.
It's a short drive.
Short drive. And we should ask Jeremy to drive us there.
Not in my car.
For we inspect, see how evil this drug is.
You
And
know
we'll
how
try
what Kansas
and
cops
you-
are like.
you
They
make
will stop you on the border.
No, they will, and they did that. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
they're doing that for people coming back from Colorado,
Absolutely
like
they
all
are.
the time.
Yeah.
But anyhow,
We were told by somebody, that if your car broke down in Colorado, blow
Mhm.
up the engine or something like that, and so you decide you're going to rent a car to come home. Excuse me. You need to be very careful what sort of car it is that you rent, because a lot of cars, I'm sure you know this, have not exactly secret compartments, but have compartments.
right.
And if they put a dog in there, and at some point a year ago, 18 months ago, someone did put some marijuana or other dope in there,
And the
You're-
dog gets
you're
smell.
done.
Hmm.
Particularly if you're an immigrant.
But then I'll call Lewis Walton,
Bam.
Dad.
and
And I would say, did you win that lottery? Because my fee is spectacular.
Dad, I think you
well,
should.
we can negotiate.
I
that.
think the next time you get called, you should do the whole "Hi, did you know how you rights? The Constitution says you do." "Hi, I'm Saul Goodman." You should do that.
Yes.
Yeah, I was driving
And-
around Kansas City recently, and I never saw any pictures of Lewis up on the billboards.
Yeah, it's,
That would be
you just
tough.
call 816-777-7777.
Yeah.
That loose number.
So,
and I mean, and
Andre's gone. Okay.
looking, were you like looking election results close too? That was part of the question.
Yeah, that was part of the question.
I mean, I'm looking. There is some good news. There is some bad news. Like, hopefully, I don't know if is the house already has been decided,
Not yet.
but is doesn't look like it would be a good news, right?
I don't know. Most of the late decisions come out of California, don't they?
Right. So let's
So who
hope
knows?
for. And I mean, there is some good wins. There is some the people that keep propagating the big lie. They kind of winning some too, but not as many than they expect. It is what it is.
It's
I
not as
mean,
bad as they
not
had
as
expected,
bad.
and that's good news.
but it's not too great. But it's I think so far is a good news. But that's it. Sorry to.
Julian, what think you? Have you followed any of the election results? First question.
Did you know there was an election on?
just take a look at me and ask that question again. But think about it.
Did you vote?
Just yeah, I did.
If I was trying to think what his hair looks like to try and describe to people.
Mine,
There's a plant, isn't there? There's a plant.
it looks like
a house plant.
those like grow this plant into like some person's head. It looks kind of like one of those things.
What's that?
It does not look like a plant.
Chip head.
A fern,
fern,
yes.
yes.
So it looks like a fern growing out.
No,
of
his
a
hair
pot.
looks like a
Right.
person of color's natural hairstyle.
That's
I
a
like
really
your
good
curls,
point.
rocket
Yeah,
curl.
but
It looks
still
good.
looks like a fern to someone who's listening. What I want to know is if Trump gets re-elected, does all your hair stand on end?
That would
Yeah,
be
it goes up.
impressive.
Or
If
does
it
it go
does, take a
straight
picture.
or
Yeah.
something?
It goes straight, and then I look like Jesus.
Perfect.
Right.
I
Okay.
want to see your hair.
First question, too political. Second question, I think that 26 states are gonna have to get it legalized before the feds. I like.
More than that.
There's 32.
I was gonna say there's already way more than that.
Oh. That's like
There's
more
only
than 2
10.
hands.
10 on your hand.
Well, and then I don't know. Probably like the next 2 Wednesday. Once they hit 40, I feel like they're just gonna be like, God, fine. Ugh.
Okay, I'm super curious. I have to ask you this question. Do you just not like talking about politics, or do you not engage in politics? at all?
I'm gonna be honest. I just don't engage in politics. It's such a boring thing. I don't like looking at two
But-
white guys yelling at each other.
Yes, but like when you turn 18, you're gonna vote.
Yeah,
right?
I mean,
Okay,
like, I'll
because
vote.
right, like
I'll
okay,
vote.
that's
I'll-
all I care about. That's all I care.
I'll keep up with politics, but like
Enough
now
to
when I-
enough to vote. That's
when
all
I,
I need.
when I don't have to vote right now, I'm not keeping up. Right.
Okay,
Third
okay.
one, with the Trump one, just use the power of friendship and do it.
Okay.
What did he say?
He said, use the power of friendship.
No, I said use the power of friendship.
Okay.
Okay. Lewis, what think you?
Meredith took my answer. Like, I normally will sit and be kind of glued to the television or the news feeds from the, CNN or whatever, New York Times. I have not really touched base other than probably 10 minutes before walking through
Yeah.
the door here. And I checked this morning to see if it was going to be as bad as everybody had prognosticated. It was not. I tuned in literally on my drive back from work today to see if it was as bad as people had prognosticated, but it's not, which is heartening, but I still don't have the mental fortitude and courage to just sit there and listen to what's inevitably going to be bad news coming in again and
Well,
again.
has anybody heard, has Boebert lost her seat yet?
She was losing when I listened at 5.
Yeah.
So,
That is a tiny little crazy woman with way too many guns, bro.
yeah.
Yeah.
the hell
yeah,
is
she's-
Boebert?
She's nuts.
Dude, she's like 4'2", and she just carries around a bunch of
Also,
guns. Most of them are taller
Who
than
thought
her.
it was
Like,
a good idea to put a person named Boebert on anything?
She's cute and she's a spinner, so she won a bunch of guys' votes without even them knowing who she was.
That's it.
I feel like oh, she's cute, and then you hear Boebert, and then you just no.
So then she opens her mouth, and it's all
And that's
over.
yeah, that's it. So yeah, I haven't watched very much coverage of the elections. I have been pleasantly surprised thus far that it is not the red wave that everybody has exclaimed that it's going to be, and I'm also becoming more and more convinced that pollsters just don't know what the fuck they're doing. So I feel like they haven't gotten it right since Reagan was elected for the second time.
Yeah, but they're saying that as well. The pollsters are actually saying that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they don't have stuff that they can work against. They can prove it or disprove it. It's everything's going the wrong way.
Right.
It's not what they expected.
Yeah, yeah. So not really watching the election results, and I am actually surprised that the federal government hasn't legalized pot already.
We've only had control for 2 years. We had a lot of shit we had to clean up after the Trump thing.
That's true. That's true. So it's entirely. I would be shocked if it takes another election cycle. If we look at 4 years from now, if pot is not federally legal, I'll actually be surprised.
Kathleen.
The non-master disagrees with that. It's not going to be. It's going to be longer than that. You think? What?
Oh, I don't think. No. I don't.
I think
Kansas-
federally it'll go before
I
all
think
of
it
the
will
states
go
legalize.
federally before. Well, It's probably going to be Mississippi or Kansas, and whichever one of them is last, it will be federally okay before
I
that
think so,
state
too.
passes.
That I think it's gonna be Texas.
Texas already has some level of legalization.
But I feel like Texas not gonna take it all the way. I feel
No,
like
Texas already has some level of legalization. I think it's medical.
I don't know. I don't know
But
this
Texas
about
already has a
states.
level of
Texas just seems
I
like
gave
One-
old
one
Julian
at a
some
time.
bad
Whoa,
insight,
whoa,
buddy.
whoa, whoa, whoa. One at a time, please.
Greg.
In comes the
Mr.
other
Greg, our
lawyer.
other
I
lawyer.
was just going to jump in on the pot question real quick and just say, I mean, like, if they decriminalize it federally and at, like, all of the state levels, what other laws are we going to rely on to, like, put poor people in prison? Like, that's just untenable.
Exactly.
There's still
poor, put
plenty
them
of
in jail.
Listen, Greg. There's plenty of black
There's
people
plenty of
driving around
bullshit,
cars,
exactly.
so there is also
Motor
that
vehicle
option.
laws,
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
They'll find some more bullshit. Don't worry.
Thank God.
Yeah, yeah.
You cannot carry more than
Not
like
to mention,
three.
marijuana is not the only drug they plant, so you know. It's okay.
You can't carry more than 3.
Okay.
3. What you asked? 3. No more information. If you cross that line, you get sent to jail
Okay.
immediately.
Andre, have you been following the election results at all?
No, not at all.
Okay.
let me
And why not?
Politics has not been a huge interest for me. I assume it will become more of an interest for me when I'm older and can vote, or when I'm more towards the age that I can vote. But right now I'm 15, so it's kind of out of my control. Once all of the results are decided and I hear about it, then I'll be like, oh, that sucks, or oh, that's cool. And
Hey, I have a question. How about the girls of your age? Are they a bit more involved because of the whole abortion stuff?
some of them are. I mean, all of the girls I know are very pro-choice, and I think that's great. I'm pro-choice, but I'm just not very active in the political world. No, it's pretty 50-50 if girls my age are super involved in politics, but
Well, to get you
Definitely
involved
what
in
more
politics,
affects
we'd have to
them.
make some laws about men. That'd be kind of fun.
men
Yeah.
can't have abortion.
All laws are about men.
That's
Put a
true.
lock on their balls.
And their
Restrictive
interests.
ones. Restrictive ones.
Like a straight, just one of those locks with a key.
You know, penalties for masturbating and dropping all that life all over the place. That
You
sort
know,
of thing.
you know,
You know what?
You
just
get
went too
like
far.
1.8 billion sperm.
Freedom
per every
expression.
nut. It's so that's like 1.8 million lives gone. So that's got to
Yeah.
be death penalty. There's got to be death
Right,
penalty.
right.
They're closing in right now.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
Yeah, just want
It's
to
just a frightening
throw
thought.
that out there.
Cassidy, have you followed any of the election results?
No, but I did go with my mom to vote, and I think that in 2024 we should have that one orphan guy as president.
Wayne.
I'm sorry, the one orphan guy?
You know, he's like he says that one thing that's like, at the end of the day, it's not that funny, is it? Because that man could be an orphan, and then you've just hit an orphan on the head, and he's gonna go home and cry about the parents that he doesn't have.
It's a guy on TikTok.
What in the holy hell?
Meredith,
Okay,
it's a
that's
guy-
right, that was
Everyone
my
is
next
falling.
question.
It's a guy on TikTok.
That's
and
all the
he
explanation
ta-
I need.
he takes
TikTok
videos
was
of
involved.
people
That's it.
throwing big rocks onto fish and goes, "That's not so funny, is it? It's
Okay,
an orphan
okay,
fish." Then
all right, enough. Eli. Hello?
What question is this? What's
The
going
question
on?
is, have you been following the election results closely? Why or why not?
I think
I had so much bullshit, man.
Jeremy's
I did
high.
my part. I'm gonna let it play out, and it's gonna be shitty or it's gonna not be shitty.
Okay, let's go to the next one. Eli, so
All right.
Back to back, bro.
What are your thoughts, Mr. Taylor?
my thoughts, you get what you asked for.
Okay.
Is this some
Yeah,
kind
no,
of British
Enough
I've
said.
been
Enough
involved with
said.
politics, professionally, and I have to say that Democrats, we have a saying in England, right, which is Democrats couldn't organise a piss up in a brewery. And
I think Stacey Abrams would disagree with that.
maybe, but the bottom line is that there are just as many Democrats in this country as there are Republicans.
More.
And if the Democrats actually felt they wanted to do something, they should. I think it is reasonable to say that as a foreigner coming here, I have found most Americans I've come across are, I think, middle of the road. they're not far left or far right. They're middle of the road, and they tend to bend with the wind against something they don't like. So, for example, the abortion thing. Americans do not like as a race. Just as Americans. Doesn't matter whether you're black, green, yellow, white, whatever.
Actually, it's a nationality.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's definitely not a race. But
They don't like being told what to do. They dislike that intensely. And
But they expect all the women in the country to be told what to do.
that part.
they don't like being told what to do. And we will come on to something in a minute, another question. But I think that's what it's actually about. And so I think Ron DeSantis will be very probably the next American president. Why? Because he looks the part.
DeSantis?
He has served in the military. He has those wonderful military photographs.
Beautiful
He has
boots,
the beautiful-
white boots.
Yeah, he has white boots.
He would
has
have to win the
gorgeous-
primary.
A gorgeous, very clever wife from New York, 3 cute kids. I suspect you might find that he's the next Kennedy.
He would have to win
Hold on,
the
Jeremy.
primary, and that's the problem. That's why the Republicans are having such a huge problem.
Yeah,
Trump would win
but-
the primary.
Whoa,
and then what?
whoa. You've got to remember that Trump is a sociopath. He's a narcissistic sociopath. So he may not run if he thinks he might lose.
I think he'll still run and claim that he won either way. Like,
In the Republican primary.
have you been watching the news for the last 2.5 years?
No.
Okay, the man. Yes, I
Yes,
think that
of course.
Trump would win the primary, and that's the problem that the Republicans have. I think secretly they want something to happen to him so that he can't run, because they know that he is the toughest. The hardest part about it is the primary, and if they and DeSantis, it's very unlikely right now because they have all shifted their policies to realign with Trump. It is very unlikely right now that anybody besides Trump wins the primary, and he's expected to announce in the next couple of weeks.
You know something? It just occurred to me. I think Republicans have come to realize that there are more Democrats than Republicans in this country. And the only way they are going to win anything is by cheating. And Trump is the best cheater among them.
That's why he's gonna win the primary.
I think history is gonna repeat itself, like it did when he lost last year. No matter what, if he wins or loses, he's gonna claim that he won. It was like all over the news for like 2 years.
You know, it was actually all part of my plan, guys. You don't even know.
So you say
Not
cheat,
playing.
but they're changing the rules.
Not even changing the rules. They just lying about the game. Like, there was no rule change. They were just straight up like, I don't give a damn. I took all the books.
It's like that
No, you
one
didn't.
game where you don't know the rules and you play the game.
No, we know
slowly
the
learning
rules. They just lying about what happened at the end of the game.
Okay, so
Yeah.
before we move on to the next one, I would like to just... There's a very old saying,
Oh, not another old English saying. Come on.
which is if
I
you,
live with this stuff,
Give
guys.
me a lawyer joke.
British people for
if you
feel like we all live with the Kath.
if you do what you always do, you get what you always get.
It's like you
not
can't,
British,
you can't
that's
always
American.
get what you want.
And
You can't always
That's my
get
favorite song.
what you want.
There's a reason this
so
isn't a music
Lewis,
podcast.
Lewis, I have another Lewis lawyer story for you. Lewis
Oh,
was
God,
working
Jesus.
late
Mick
one
Jagger.
night in his
So good.
office. Lewis was working late one night in his office when suddenly Satan appeared before him. The devil
Ooh.
made him an offer. He said, I will make it so you win every case that you try for the rest of your life. Your clients will worship you, your colleagues will be in awe, and you will make enormous amounts of money. But in return, you must give me your soul, your wife's soul, the souls of your children, your parents, grandparents, and those of all your friends. Lewis thought about this for a short while.
I would say
Took
yes.
took a sip of his whiskey. Said, "What's the catch?"
That's what I'm saying. If you said no, I would have been very disappointed.
I appreciate that, son.
Like, who needs
You
a soul?
should never have power.
Material value better than the soul.
You know,
Shoes
we
without
should
souls
remember
are
that
terrible.
when I'm a very, very old man, if I've lived that long,
It's like 3 years.
and Julian is standing for Senate, you know, and I can point out to my very, very old friend equally not quite as old as me. Do you remember what you said all those years ago? Who needs a soul? As he eats another tray of
That means
fries.
he's a born politician. Yeah.
Do we expect too much from our athletes? And what we're talking here about is Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving, as you know, had been suspended for tweeting about an anti-Semitic movie. The league gave Kyrie a list of 6 requirements to get back on court. Kyrie has apologised via Twitter, but he's not completed many, if any, of the other requirements. Stephen Smith from ESPN makes the argument that the league is emasculating Kyrie. Are they expecting too much from him? Or is all this some secret religious plot to get into American basketball, Kathleen?
Is he implying that by emasculating him, by insisting that he not be racist and it's masculine to knock people, to be racist and anti-Semitic?
Sounds
That's
like Andrew Tate.
ridiculous. It's a really silly thing
My
for them to say.
savior.
So I don't think that's. I don't watch Stephen A. Smith, but I don't think that's what he's saying. I think the argument is not my argument. Understand, not my argument, but I'm gonna speak it as I understand it. The idea is that it is that there is a part of masculinity that is speaking your mind, regardless of the which way the wind blows. And Kyrie is stating an unpopular opinion, but it's his right to do so, and the league shouldn't be taking it away. Think of it in terms of like a John Wayne movie. Like he's saying the hard, ugly thing that nobody maybe wants to be guilty of saying, and he's got the courage to do it. And if, as the league is coming down on him, they're basically taking away his manhood.
Aww. That's so sad. How can somebody take away his manhood? Poor baby.
Again, not my argument, but there is a difference between saying that saying something racist is part of being a man versus being able to speak your mind as part of a man. And I think that it is
not part of being a human being.
So I think that's the part
so
that
watch out
everybody-
here.
But do you think he was
I
being
agree with you.
racist?
Okay.
Do you think he was being racist?
So we use the term racist poorly as a society. We kind of think of racist as something that is purposefully harming a group of a race. And as long as we have discussions about racism where if you're not purposefully subjugating black people or Jewish people or Asian people, then you're not racist. We're having the wrong discussion. Like, we need to be looking at the effect of what we say versus the intent of what we say.
But are you saying then that if we don't like what the Pope is doing, that the Catholics are now a race and we don't like Catholics?
That's not the definition of race.
Yeah, that's well.
Oh,
okay.
so what? So why do Jewish people suddenly become a race?
They're an ethnicity. It's an ethnicity.
I think that
Necessarily.
it's I think so.
Okay.
Race is a completely like socially constructed idea. So I don't know how you differentiate this race from that race. I do know that there are some societally accepted.
So,
versions.
unpopular opinion. I just got to be honest with you. Whoopi Goldberg got in a lot of trouble last year for making the comment about race, right? And that the comment that she made about Judaism not be, or that it was the Holocaust wasn't about hate, or it wasn't about race, it was about hatred and evil. And she then went on later that evening to explain what she was trying to say. She was in no way denying the Holocaust. I honestly agreed with her 100% because I do understand where their concept of it being a race comes from. But here's the thing. If the KKK is coming down the street, they're not going to be able to look at you and say you're Jewish. They can look at me and say that I'm black. They can look at Julian and see your Hispanic heritage. Like, and that to me, like, is why I would say ethnicity as opposed to race.
but they
In my
can't
opinion.
look at you. They can't look at you.
But there's some color in my blood.
Oh, sure.
I mean, and
But they
so
can't
But they
tell
can't
whether
look
you're
at
Jewish
you
or
and
not.
say you're Jewish, or
precisely
or-
why I
agree.
understood exactly what
Yeah.
she was saying.
True.
Because from Whoopi and a lot of black people's perspective, that was white people killing white people.
But the thing is, it seems that it doesn't matter who you are, a multi-billionaire basketball player. If you say something about the Jews, you're going to get into trouble.
Well, there's also
And you
the
can't
fact
you can't say it about Hindus or Catholics or Protestants. But
Right.
if you say it about Jews,
No.
whoa.
No,
That's
hang on.
just- that's-
This guy is paid millions by a sports team. He is a public
Figure,
entity. a
influencer.
influencer, a public entity. What he says matters. And if what he says is impacting the team that he's playing with by making people mad at them, they have a perfect right to demand that he do certain actions to change the results of his action.
Right.
Because he's
Morality
been harming
clauses.
them. So, and if he doesn't do that, they have the right to fire him.
That's because he signed a contract with a morality clause. So if we ever get big, make sure that shit ain't in there.
Right. No. So yeah, I think it is within the league's purview to insist that he abide by their code of conduct if he wants to play. But I kind of think that it's sad and pathetic that we have to mandate compassion from folks. That's kind of the uptake for me. The issue isn't whether, for me, the issue is not whether or not what he said was racist. The issue is whether or not what he said was compassionate. And there was, what he said was so devoid of compassion that it can be considered hate. That's how I interpret it. And so, yeah, for me, there's this notion that we sitting on the outside can judge what is racist or harmful to Jewish folks. No, there's in modern history, there's one group of people that had a whole bunch of them gathered up and put on trains, and the whole world watched and did nothing. So I am not at all surprised that they now expect a little bit more sensitivity than when you're talking about a Hindu person. To me, it is a completely justifiable response to this really shitty 10-year period that that society, that group of people had to go through, literally being shipped off to be killed simply because of the part of the world that you're from.
And by the way, everybody who laughed at me when I said, if you do what you always do, you get what you always get. And they laugh at me a lot because I point out that now is so much, now here in America, is so much like Germany in the late 20s and during the 30s.
So I'm
And-
just going to jump in because
remember
that's
Hitler
not why we
checked-
laugh at you.
Hitler,
Right?
well,
There's
it's
so
'cause-
many reasons.
All right. But remember that Hitler and his crew changed the laws.
Right.
And, what's Putin doing right now? And, it takes a while for the middle of the road people, right, to eventually get pissed off enough to actually do something about it. You
Right.
forget when you lot were attacked in Pearl Harbor, right, and they got all terribly upset because 1,200 men and women had been killed in the attack. Well, that's the same as a large aircraft carrier going down, and that was enough to get past Lindbergh and get America into the war. And Roosevelt said to Churchill that night, he said, we're all in it
You
now.
knew it was coming.
But what I'm trying to get, and then it took 5 years and millions of people getting killed, and we get back to comments like my mother said, that's what we fought the war for. When I said, why didn't you vote for Mr. Churchill? She said, because we didn't fight a war. He led us. But we fought a war so everybody could have health care. And, you can translate that into, America doesn't have universal health care. We all know people who can't afford to go to hospital. and it will change, but I fear it's going to take quite a long time.
All right.
What is next
Wait,
question?
in the middle.
Julian had a one.
Julian.
I didn't chip on
I
that.
thought
Alright,
Julian
alright,
had chopped in already.
All right.
What about me?
Jeremy.
Yeah.
One
Yes.
thing
Yes,
is
Julian.
I'm pretty sure the reason that it's a lot taken a lot more seriously when people are Jewish and you say something against them, not only because, like Dad said, the whole Holocaust thing, that was like pretty recent.
Have you ever read any Shakespeare?
No.
Oh, you could do with reading Shakespeare.
Romeo and Juliet.
He was a British or English poet,
Boo.
and he wrote about a guy called Shylock. People have hated Jews for eons.
Yeah,
Going
I
back
know.
to
I'm just saying, especially because it's super recent, and also because being Jewish is an ethnicity. You can be ethnically Jewish, but not religiously Jewish.
How can you be ethnically Jewish?
It's because like way back when, before the whole people thing, like there's people, but like civilization took off. There's groups of people, and those people were Jewish, and so ethnically Jewish people today are like the descendants of those people. So you can be ethnically Jewish, and then you can be religiously Jewish, which is following the Jewish religion.
Well, then that makes me, I suppose, an ethnically Christian, but I'm
no,
not Christian.
The difference between
what was what
I'm
was
not-
Jesus?
that
Was
doesn't
he, was
work.
he
Jesus was originally Jewish, but Christians
Oh.
kind of the difference between Jewish and Christians is that Christians popped up like a lot later. So same with Catholic. I don't know about Hindu though. That might also be an ethnicity. I'm not too sure.
So
but
I would
know-
push back on your statement that being ethnically Christian doesn't work. I would push back to say we live in a country where the norm is, the expectation is that you're Christian. Like, we couldn't have a war on
My mother and
Christmas.
her mother before her described themselves as total heathens.
I like your family.
Yeah,
But,
I do too.
but,
And
that
her mother
doesn't-
also says, by the way, just so you know, because it's important if we're talking about a mother, that God is a woman.
yeah, I can get behind that too.
And she's 93 years old, and don't mess with her.
I could only imagine that a woman could come up with boobs, and so I'm completely down with that. No,
You're down with it?
I'm down with it. I am pro woman. I am
yes,
pro
our
boob.
other lawyer chipped in
Yeah.
there because we're getting a bit close to the mark there. New lawyer.
I would push back on the idea that we are not all ethnically Christian living in this country.
He's coming behind you now.
I have some.
Hang on, let's,
Oh.
let's,
There's a question about
let's-
Kyrie
let's-
Irving.
So,
Greg,
yeah,
oh,
can
I just wanted to explain.
Whoa,
like,
Also
whoa,
pro
you
women.
can't. Shush. Everybody, shush. We're having one podcast.
Can I just real quickly? I'm going to say something super unpopular right now, and everybody's in the world's going to hate me. But I think the reason that everybody has such a difficulty defining an ethnical Jew is because you're going to hate me for this, but they walked over somewhere and they stole somebody else's land. So like they weren't
let me
from, and they said God promised it to them, and that's kind of where. And the people that
That's
grew
Zionism.
up there, like the people that lived there and came from that, yes, but they were originally from another area.
Are
That's
you talking
why it's
about-
difficult to understand how their ethnicity originated?
Are you talking about like the Moses people? Or are you talking about the Israelites?
I'm just saying that's
or
who
the
they say are those
Israelis?
people. That's in,
Well, they
at
can't-
least
they
in the
can't-
religion. That's how.
Let's just
define it.
be clear.
And I'm not.
about
I mean, I'm not saying that they
It
can't
won't-
be. I'm just
it-
saying that's why it's difficult to understand the definition of Jewish people.
So, I mean, I don't care about the Jewish thing. I don't know that I'm terribly pro-Zionism, though. I think I'm
What?
probably anti-Zionism. That
good.
doesn't mean to say I'm anti-Jews.
Right.
But I do think that, people who say, oh, well, the Israelis came back and took that.
Exactly.
It's like saying the Catholics decided. I have to do it in an Irish voice for some reason. But anyway, the Catholics decided that they're going to take over, the Vatican's based in the middle of Rome. Right, okay. So Italy is now going to be called Catholic land. It doesn't make sense.
I believe it's called Vatican City.
We should have another discussion about why the Jews are special and better or more special than Catholics or Hindus or Muslims.
I'm having a real big problem understanding if you are arguing my argument or the other side right now.
I'm just being difficult.
Okay.
I think he's anti-Zionist. That's what I got.
I
out of
am
it, which is
anti-Zionist. Yeah, I think I probably am.
Good.
I don't.
I don't think we know what that term means.
It means I don't think they had any right to say.
Please.
They had any right to just go into Palestine and
Carve out their own
and
living
start
room.
removing people who'd lived there for generations. Cassidy.
Wasn't the UN the one that gave them that right?
Yeah, I think so.
Fuck him.
I can't
There's
do that.
a
I'm
whole
a
bunch
minor.
of different European countries
Hanukkah
that
starts
decided to
on
draw
December
the line.
18th, so prepare your menorahs and your Hanukkah candles because they cost a lot. That's all I had to say.
Boom.
She has a
Shall we
Jewish
move
and
on?
a Christian godmother.
Let's move on.
I didn't work
Oh,
on that.
I haven't
No.
got
Oh, Fernando?
This
What's
is
your
just
thoughts?
a
Oh,
quagmire
God. So-
right here.
Fernando, please.
I have a lot of thoughts.
Oh, okay.
So that was the basketball player, right?
Yeah.
And we got stuck in Israel and stuff.
It's just because I tried to explain
good
what
point,
an
yeah.
ethnicity was.
Anyhow, like I mean, it's gosh, it's almost like taking his freedom of speech. But again, the guy is a big influencer. But I mean, I think this is a modern thing. You can't really tell the guy shut up. However,
You can
if
if you
there
employ
was
him.
like a moral like
Morality clause?
morality clause, he should comply with that. And it's bad, but I mean, he's not alone. There is so many idiots, and I mean, me myself, like who here on the table never like believing in a hoax or some bullshit? You know, people still, there is a lot of people believing the world's flat, and still there's a big numbers going on that.
Yeah, but fewer and fewer of them because they keep walking, they fall off the edge. They're getting fewer all
I'll
the
take
time.
a photo of the edge. I
So-
promise. I'll figure out. I'll show everybody. Oh!
So
Andre, do you want? Oh, sorry. I thought you finished.
So my point is, I think he should comply, but I mean it's just like pathetic to be, you know, how big the noise gets with those commotions. I'm wondering if he was part of the NFL, would he get a award? I would say, right? Nothing would happen there, correct?
So long as he didn't kneel somewhere.
Yeah. Long as he's not like.
Yeah, as long as he's not protesting for
Yeah,
something.
having said
valid.
that,
Could-
if he was a Republican senator, no one would say anything at all.
exactly, or like Tucker Carlson.
Yeah.
I mean, there is many people that, I mean, this like it's different who say that, right? It's and I mean they're all influencers too. There is many people in the media that you know
I
talk a
don't
lot
think
of
Fox
bullshit.
News puts any morality clause in its
Well,
contracts.
no, they might
That
have
would be
the
tough to do.
reverse.
It's kind of the opposite. If you
Yeah.
were,
immoral, if you're not immoral, you need to pay. for
can't
it.
work here.
You can't work here.
Yeah, I got a question.
Andre, you want to join in?
Sure. Kyrie Irving has been one of my favorite athletes for a long time, and it's now biting me in the ass.
Nice.
But one of the main reasons I did like him is because he spoke his mind, and that's now also biting me in the ass.
He's mine.
Yeah. Well, because like a lot of guys will just like in
I never
interviews.
thought of you as gay.
A lot of guys in interviews and everything will just say whatever they like, and I mean he's never really said something this bad this publicly before, but I don't know, a lot of guys will just say whatever, like the same generic responses to everything, and he doesn't. But he also tweets about racist and anti-Semitic movies now, I guess, which is a
I got a
problem. But
What did he even do?
If I'm him, I would assume like he's thinking, I tweeted about this movie that I liked and I agreed with, and they're telling me I shouldn't have, but I feel like it was the right, like I feel like in my mind it's the right thing to do. Like he thinks it was the right cause, so I don't really see him. I mean, I don't know what's more important to him, which is like what he believes in or basketball, because he's already made quite a lot of money from basketball and has had a very successful career. But I don't know, I feel like if he really thinks it's like the most important thing is like what he believes, then I don't really see him complying with the 6 things. To
I got
apologize
various
or
people
whatever.
waving at me. Eli is next.
Okay. But
So the dude linked on his tweet a documentary that denied the Holocaust, said the Jews were behind all sorts of world conflicts, like
Sounds
put
like
his
something
ass
Kanye
in
would do.
timeout. Like exactly, that's some Kanye shit, no doubt. Put his ass in timeout, that's fine. But the whole time, on this documentary that he linked, Amazon has been making record sales selling this bullshit documentary about how the Holocaust wasn't real, about how the Jews are behind everything this whole time, and Amazon isn't getting a bit of flack for it. And they're the ones selling this documentary to everyone that Kyrie Irving's plugging in to this anti-Jewish conspiracy. So it's just a whole bunch of bullshit. I mean, it's great, you know, that Kyrie Irving's in timeout or whatever shit he has to do.
Oh, nobody's going to go
but
after.
It's like, this is so much bigger. Even like we're not holding the people who are literally peddling this shit accountable.
Well, Amazon owns most of us, so we're not.
Right, exactly.
I want to know what the lawyer in the
this?
corner has to say.
Yes.
I see him
Yeah,
shaking his
yeah.
head. No,
Yeah,
the
we
one
got-
behind him. Come on.
Our ex-lawyer.
Greg is smarter than all of us. He's like, I got it.
Come on, Greg. You
No
can take my
comment.
Greg,
No
Greg said, when I
Is
lose
this
my
like
job.
a one in, one out thing? Like if Lewis becomes a lawyer, I'm an ex-lawyer.
Got to keep the ratio
Did
clean,
you
okay?
get
Right,
disbarred or something?
What's that?
Did you get disbarred or something?
No.
Not yet.
So why are you no longer?
Shockingly, no.
Why are you no longer our lawyer?
What's that?
Why are you no longer our lawyer then?
I think I didn't say I was.
We haven't
I think-
paid you?
I think it's just co-counsel situation.
You've not been paid.
I was
have
going to say,
you?
we haven't paid you?
That's what it's
Yeah.
about.
I
You've
mean,
not
there
been
wa-
paid.
there
If
wa-
we have
I will
co-counsel,
speak
we have
to
to pay
Evo, and he
double
will
zero.
speak to Susan about it.
Yeah.
I want to know why you were shaking your head like that.
No, I was just gonna say that I feel like it really does come down primarily to just capitalism in that it would be losing the league money to keep supporting somebody doing it, whereas Amazon continuing to make money on selling propaganda to stupid people. There's no market, and nobody's gonna stop buying from Amazon, whereas people would stop consuming potentially the sports or whatever. That's all.
So we're going to move on.
Thank you,
and,
Greg.
I just want to tell you another little story about Lewis. Actually, we're able to look forward 100 years' time, this is. And a man was sent to hell for his sins. And as he was being led into the pits for eternity by the devil, he saw Lewis passionately kissing a beautiful woman. And he turns to the devil. He turns to the devil and he says, "What a joke." He said, "I have to roast in flames for all eternity, and that lawyer, Walton, gets to spend it with that beautiful woman." And Satan jabbed the man with his pitchfork and snarled. He said, "Who are you to question the woman's punishment?"
Wow.
Hey.
Yes,
Not
yeah,
a lot,
that's
but it's quite
Have
good.
we got any more actual questions? Or just more
Yes,
jokes?
we have got some more questions.
All right.
Yes,
I thought it was the
no
last
good question goes unbilled.
thought
No,
so
that's
too.
a lawyer
I was
thing.
saying, I thought that was
Okay,
the last
it's,
one.
That's it, wasn't it?
No.
No.
Oh,
What
my
is your
favorite
favorite thing about living in your city? Lawrence, Overland Park, Kansas City, Topeka, wherever it wouldn't be Topeka, would it? But Lawrence, Overland Park. Yes, forgive me, God, for what I said. I'm sorry. So, yes, I'm sorry. Come on. So, what's your favorite thing about living in Lawrence? Can you keep it short, Cassidy?
So I do live somewhere in Kansas. I will not be disclosing where because I'm very famous.
You're an influencer, dear.
Yeah,
An
I know.
influencer.
But I do. My favorite thing is this one specific park, and it's like the best park ever, and I love it. That's all I have to say.
Ah, park. Cool.
And
What? Bound on the table.
had to get it out.
I don't know. I like this town. I'm sure like there is no other great place in the West, but I mean it's just good. Like I grew up in giant city that it takes like 2 hours commuting just from work daily, and here like you can reach like most of the basics and have a like nice community roots, a lot of a lot of care. So it's good to be in a town. I like that. I would say the perfect size because you can dodge people, but you always see some face. But actually, I don't know about their lives. Like you be smaller than this, and you have like good culture, good folks, university. I don't care about sports, but there is good sports if you care. But good, can get some good music, good bars, and good people like this table here, and all that you guys are meeting Lawrence.
Andre.
My favorite thing about Lawrence and the world is this great congregation of about 1,500, maybe 2,000 people at Lawrence High School. I love it. especially the sports there. It's great. I love everything about the Chesty Lions, especially the alumni. Oh,
You're
it's
trying to
great.
get good grades, aren't you?
Yeah,
Something
I
like
have
that.
Julian.
Julian. My very immediate family, such as but not limited to my father, mother, sister, my dog, and also my chums that live here.
That's
what
your favorite thing about living where it is you live.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. Eli.
So many people I love are here. I was born right here, and the Baker
What, in
Wetlands
Conroy's?
At
are
this
right
table?
I mean, shit.
that
I
would
guess
be
I'd have to
awkward.
ask, but
Have we sanitized?
Wait, hold on, Fernando.
know me.
You said all the people at this table, but what about this table?
Oh, this table right
Separate
This
table.
table played a big role right there.
As well.
The man with the knobs.
bless.
Yes. No, I'm not going there. So, okay. Yeah. Meredith.
I am not originally from here, but I do live in Kansas City just because I feel like it is like the littlest town, big city that you can find in America. Like, you can drive 30 minutes and be out in like the middle of nowhere if you want to, or you can drive like 10 minutes and go down to downtown Plaza. Like, it's that perfect mix between a big city and a small town. Because like anywhere you go, you're still gonna know people. Like, whatever, doesn't matter. It's that right mixture.
Okay. Kathleen.
I kind of like the politics of the area. We are the bluest bit of Kansas, but it's not excluding anybody. There are certainly a bunch of Republicans around as well as Democrats, and everybody seems to get along. I think there was 4 years ago a big, or more than that, a Trump rally on Mass Street. It took up about, 100 feet. And lasted maybe 15 minutes, and that was it. So it's a neat place.
Lewis.
So I'm gonna piggyback on what you said, Kath. Like, there's this stereotype that people from the Midwest are like friendly and compassionate, like to a fault, and I feel like that's like exemplified by where we are right now. And so I was having a conversation with somebody else today, not related to this question, but I like the question why. Like, it's always a probing question no matter what you're talking about. Just ask the person why they think that way or feel that way. or do
Goddamn
that
philosophers.
thing. Yes. Yes. And I feel like that is a
But why is that?
distinctly Midwestern trait. And like, the folks here do it, and they do it with genuine interest in who you are and what you do and think and believe. And I just feel comfortable here in the Kansas City Overland Park
Among all
Lawrence,
the other lawyers.
well,
And
yeah.
asking everybody why.
Why? And I
Stop
think
it.
it's a brilliant, loving question. So that's why.
You may have noticed, ladies and gentlemen.
Oh, wait,
boys and girls.
wait.
Oh, you haven't finished?
I finished, but now I was going to ask you, because you come from like a faraway land with
across the
like
pond, yeah.
lots of ugly people, and so I want to know
Ask him to say
why
bottled
you
water?
want to be here or what you like about being here.
Who said I wanted to be here?
Your wife?
Did she? Oh, I want to be here, and
I tell him
that's
that
fine.
at least twice a day.
I want you to know that I love chiggers, particularly with Marmite.
Yeah.
Mosquitoes.
If I can get enough of them on one roll. I think what people have said, I remember the first time I came to Lawrence, it was a cold, snowy day.
You're away from
And
your bottles of water.
I was away from my water. Yeah.
He's running out of space.
Okay, so there we are. I walked up Mass Street and I thought, I could live here. It never occurred to me that I was going to. And I have one more thought, lawyer story, if I might. Have I got room for that? Yes?
Let her rip.
Okay. Okay, so I like this one. A rabbi, a Hindu, and a lawyer are in a car that breaks down in the countryside one evening. They
Just
walk
to let you know, this is my favorite lawyer joke of all time.
They walk to a nearby farm, and the farmer tells them it's too late for a tow truck. but that he only has 2 extra beds, and one of them will have to sleep in the barn. The Hindu says, I'm humble. I'll sleep in the barn. But minutes later, he returns and knocks on the door and says, there's a cow in the barn. It's against my beliefs to sleep in the same building as a cow. So the rabbi says, that's okay. He said, I'll go and sleep in the barn. But soon he too is back knocking on the door. He says, there's a pig in the barn, and I can't shelter in a building with a pig. So the lawyer is faced to go, and he goes to sleep in the barn. And shortly after, there's another knock on the door, and the farmer sighs and goes and answers it. It's the pig and the cow.
It's okay,
How'd you
Dad.
get
I
a
don't think
lawyer
you're
out
that
of a
bad.
tree? Go on. How'd you get a lawyer out of a tree? Go on.
Throw a quarter on the ground?
Money. Get a court case.
No, cut the rope.
Oh.
And thank you for listening, you to another Wednesday night Undressed. I want to thank the team, Andrei, Kathleen, Julian, Meredith, Eli, Lewis, Cassidy,
Hi.
Fernando, and the odd insert from Greg, our other lawyer. We want to thank Neil Rasmussen for playing with his knobs, as he does.
Nefarious
And we
knob-knobbler.
should now be at the end of the broadcast, and you've been listening to another naked, very naked. Go!
Why aren't you clapping?
I don't know how I felt about the last one.